Alright, good morning YouTube. I actually brought out a couple of my little bit bigger rigs today out here to the Greeley Stampede. So I got a pretty good sized parking lot to cause a little bit of havoc in this morning. Only a couple cars out here, so it's a good start to the day. Quick little shakedown on these bad boys. Both of these rigs run the XL2 and the motors are completely different, which is kind of why I wanted to come out and do just a little bit of a comparison video today. But in the Creighton longer body chassis, I have a little bit bigger motor. That's the 2028 series 1100 kV, and XLX2 in both rigs. And in this guy we'll be running the Genzace Basher Pro lipos that are 11,000 milliamp hour, and in this guy we will be running the XLX2 with the newer 1260 kV, which is a 1721 size can. So a little bit different size motors. You can see that one doesn't fill up the motor compartment nearly as much as this one does. There's not much room in front of him. And this guy, I can still stick my fingers down in there. But don't really have the most aggressive tune on this guy, because I wasn't for sure if this smaller motor would be able to handle as heavy as this rig is, because both of these are stinking heavy, man. 30+ pound rigs. I'm running 34-47 gears in this guy, and then in this guy we've got 34-38. I've got aftermarket 38 tooth spur in him, hardened steel by GPM, which has been doing phenomenal, man. I don't run mod 1.5 gears because they're more expensive and they're stupid noisy and just not a big fan. So I run mod 1 in all my bigger rigs, and if something does happen to the gears are a hell of a lot cheaper to replace. And I don't have much problems with them. I actually have more problems running mod 1.5 than I ever have running mod 0.1. So or mod 1.0, you know what I mean. Anyways, just wanted to give you guys a quick shakedown on what's going on today. This is a newer XLX2. This guy is a couple years old. And I've noticed this new one, I actually have to have a battery plugged into him to do any tuning on my laptop. It will just blink red on the connector to your brain that goes to your ESC. It'll just blink red, and I thought, oh shit, I've got a problem right off the bat. But then I powered it on and it hooked up to my computer just fine. So I just thought that was kind of weird. If anybody has any idea on what might be going on there, give me a shout out on that. But anyway, I'm gonna get everything juiced up and I'll be right back. Alright, so we'll go ahead and run the Creighton for a little bit first. About 9 or 10 minutes or so. Got everything turned up to 100 these days. There was a time when I had everything turned quite down on these XLX2s just because it scared the shit out of me, man. You see all the horror stories and everything on YouTube about how fires and everything start. She's got some pretty serious snort. Love this 1100 kV motor, man. It's very, very torquey. In my last run with this guy, I did actually pull 486 amps on about a 15-minute run with the motor timing on 2 and 34-38 gears, which it seems to be pretty happy there. This thing is a hoot, man. Lots of power. Definitely by far my biggest amp monster on what it draws from the ESC. That's why I have those big old 11,000 milliamp hour Genzace Basher Pro batteries, and they are heavy. They weigh 989 grams a piece. Woo-wee. Got a little sideways there. But having that much juice, you can run this thing for probably a good 30 minutes if you take a couple breaks to let it cool down. And I was having temp issues, so I went ahead and put in a big old O8S cooling fan in there. You can hear it. You can hear that fan, it's pretty loud. But it made a big difference on keeping the motor cool. So I've been plugging that thing in every time I run this truck from now on. especially on these hotter days. It's a little cooler out yet this morning, but it will get hot. And I just don't want to turn the motor timing all the way down to 0. So it's on 2. Absolutely love this Noble FlySky MB4 remote. It's kind of a game changer, man. There's just so much cool shit you can do with it. And then I have my auxiliary plug on the ESC and channel 3 so that I can adjust my maximum power. So if I want to hand the remote off, I can turn it down to whatever percentage and give it to a noob before they trash my shit on lower power. Monster. Absolute monster. This thing is a freaking hoot to drive around, especially when you got a big, nice open area. Should have brought my GNSS speed control module out here so I could do some max speed runs, but that's okay. We'll still have fun. Highly recommend this power system for a K8S. I had a Hobbywing 800 kV in it to actually start with the XLX2, and I felt like I was pushing it just a little too hard. I was actually just past 1.1 gearing on it. I think I had 39 gears in it for just a little bit. 40 on the spur, 39 on the pinion. And it just didn't even remotely do what this 1100 can do on 34, 38 gears, man. It draws way more amperage than that 800 kV Hobbywing ever did. But it always kind of made me nervous to run too, because it's 6.5 bullets on that Hobbywing motor. And this 1100 kV 2028 series, everything is 8mm. I even yank off all the EC5 plugs on the battery, and I run straight 8mm bullets, just like that kid from RC Innovations does. That's kind of where I got the idea. And since then, man, I've had no issues with temperatures or connectors getting hot or anything like that. It acts like it only weighs a couple pounds, but it's damn near 40 pounds with these big ass heavy batteries in there. And then that huge 2028 size motor. And the XLX2 is not exactly a light ESC either. It's a EXB roller that I built up a couple years ago, and man, have I had a blast building this truck. Stepping it up one notch at a time with different motors and shit. With this F100 body that I bought off of Horizon on sale for 50 bucks, I had to actually change the wheelie bar a little bit. The wheelie bar actually comes up right here with the wing, but I didn't like the way that looked. And then you have to take the wing off just to get the motor off at that point. So I rerouted the wheelie bar. It's actually upside down and on the lower screws on the back of the chassis, but I think it worked out pretty good, man. It still serves a good purpose as far as keeping it from flipping back all the way, as long as you know how to ride a wheelie. And no issues, not one. Let her rip, tater chip. Now my timer's at 7 minutes already. Time flies when you're having fun. Good brake control. That's set pretty good, man. I've got her pretty dialed in. I do have the motor temperature cutoff set at 180, just in case I get a little too silly and I'm not paying good enough attention. I know that it'll turn off on the ESC since I've got it all censored before I do any real actual damage. It's a big money setup, man. Trying to get as much longevity and life out of it as I can. Recording today off of an attachment I bought off of Amazon for the NB4. It's like an aluminum housing that wraps all the way around the top part of the controller, and then with the GoPro 12 you can actually just screw it right in on the top. So hopefully the footage is going to turn out pretty decent today. I'm still kind of figuring out what angle to hold my wrist and what angle to keep the GoPro at, and then I'm using Super View on the GoPro 12 today, so hopefully, I know that kind of fisheyes everything quite a bit, but hopefully at least I'm capturing the rig in most of these shots. Hello, monster. Sometimes I forget to point my remote at the rig because I usually just kind of stand any direction I want. And I usually wear the GoPro on my hat bill, the bill of my hat, but I don't like how heavy that is on the front of my head, man. It makes my hat pretty uncomfortable to wear. So I've been trying this new way to record. Hopefully it's working out pretty good for you guys on what you're being able to see. Obviously I'll check out the footage when I get home, but I really don't do a lot of editing. Pretty much whatever I shoot is what you see for the day. I don't run any mods for the audio. I've been thinking about getting that audio mod for the GoPro because I guess it kind of really kills a lot of the surrounding noise. Especially like when I'm out hauling ass in the Cobra, I like being able to hear the car and not the wind. And I've noticed every time I try to make a video on how the car sounds, all you can hear is wind. Kind of want to check temperatures real quick since we're getting close to running for 10 minutes now. Pretty wide open, high traction shit. So that will tend to heat stuff up a little bit. Let's sneak a hand in there and see what we got. Good temperature. Oh no, it feels good. Feels real good actually. That super fan sounds like a miniature vacuum in there, keeping everything cool. Got a Hoover. That balance port bouncing around in there. It is. That's okay though. As long as it doesn't get chewed up in them gears, we'll be alright. As long as you stay on the throttle, it'll stay back. Have the gyro turned up very much on this system because it's just so stable. You can really keep a pretty good handle on it without it. Woo-wee! Throwing rocks everywhere. Full trigger. These MX43s are about the tires, the only tires that I've been able to keep on the wheel of this thing, man. I've been shredding just about everything else I try to put on here. They are heavy, which, you know, you're adding more weight to more weight basically, but they're the most durable, they balloon the least, and they're such a hard compound that they take forever to wear down. I'm running MX58s on the Outcast, quite a bit softer compound, but I do like how much lighter they are. And that thing isn't nearly as fast as this guy because he's a shorter wheelbase, and I just like to ride mile-long wheelies with that 8S Outcast. few jumps here and there, but other than that, I'm pretty mild with it. So that's why I thought the 1260 smaller can 1721 would be a good motor for that chassis, even though they're only probably less than a pound apart in weight. Uh-oh, got some police showing up. Hopefully we're not in trouble. But yeah, that's the K8S right there. Dialed in, man. Love this rig. Got any questions or comments about it? If you're trying to build something similar, just let me know and I will do my best to help you out. But I think we're going to go ahead and skip on over to the K8S now and rip him a little bit. Alright, let's give the old 1260 some snort. It seems peppier, but I think a lot of the reason why is it's a shorter wheelbase. So that's full trigger right there, and if you lay into it easy, you can even keep the front end down. Timing is on 5 on this guy with 34, 47 gears. You can pop the front end up quite easily though on a roll with as much punch as this motor has, even with as big as and heavy as the rig is. Still a shorter chassis. Man, that 1260's got a lot of power too for being quite a bit smaller motor, man. I'm running another 1721 in my my Limitless. Call him Spider-Man because he's all blue and red. It's the 2400 kV, and I actually run that guy on 6S because 8S scares the shit out of me with that motor. That's the motor that Castle came out with that has no warranty, no nothing. They recommend that you keep your motor timing at 0 at all times, and then just do one hard pull as far as the speed run goes, and then give it time to cool down. But I set mine up more for a drag racing kind of application. And I had a bunch of buddies out to the fairgrounds a couple of weeks ago for Father's Day, and nobody could touch that setup, man. And everybody else was running 8S, and I was killing everybody on 6S with that Limitless and that 2400 kV 1721. Also running an XLX2 with that setup. There's only 3 XLX2s I have though. This guy, the K8S, and the Limitless. Parking lot's starting to fill up with a few dickheads now. Can't you fuckers see I'm trying to have fun on my day off? Go on now, get. Still pretty quick, but it's not nearly as fast as the K8S. A lot more mild gearing. I think I'm probably getting quite a bit more RPM, but it's like a small block versus a big block. A small block Chevy in this guy, and the big block Chevy in the K8S. But as you can see, it has no problem pulling up that front end to do a wheelie on the roll. You don't have to be at a dead stop like you have to on the stock electronics. Got a little bit of a drift to it, a little bit. It's running pretty straight. I'm not even gonna worry about messing with the trim on the remote today. MX58s. They almost look a little taller too. They might be just a smidge taller than the MX43s. Beautiful wheelie control though, man. It's so easy to ride a nice long wheelie with this setup with very little practice. Don't hit the taco truck now. Pushes a lot though. can't really turn for shit on high friction surfaces when you're on power. But I've got the diffs pretty locked in too. Earplugs in the center, and then 500,000 front and back. But it goes straight nicely. It don't turn the best, but it goes straight very nice for like long wheelies and just stunt truck kind of stuff. If you're getting ready to hit the ramp, you don't want to be going all sideways as you approach. Running RPM A-arms on this guy, and then just the stock ones on the XB8S roller. Whatever the XB8S roller has for stock A-arms, that's what I've ran the whole time. Jumped it quite a bit too, and they hold up well. I did smoke these, the stock ones that came on this truck, which this truck is shit 4 or 5 years old already. But I replaced them with the RPM ones and have not had any issues at all. They're a lot better A-arms than the stock ones. Full trigger. Try to really only use the brake when absolutely needed. I just think it causes unwanted heat more than anything else. Oh, I didn't even know there was a puddle right there. Time to air dry. Wheelie monster. Love both these rigs quite a bit, man. I've always been more of an Arrma guy. I love Traxxas and they do great things, but I don't like how proprietary their shit is. Arrma likes to keep things in-house as much as possible, and they design as such. I don't know if I said Arrma or Traxxas just then. I meant Traxxas. Traxxas is the proprietary monsters. You know, you can do a lot more aftermarket stuff with a lot less effort with an Arrma than you can with Traxxas. Especially when it comes to their battery trays and shit, man. That's one of the things that pisses me off the most about Traxxas, is they make sure that their battery trays are set up for their shit, but not really anybody else's. It does take a little bit longer to get batteries in these, but they're adjustable. Like, you can adjust these battery trays from anywhere from those a huge 1100 or 11,000 kV or milliamp hour, 11,000 milliamp hour Basher Pros to, I got 8,000s in here, and it's just so easy to do. You can never fit those size batteries in a Traxxas like an X-Max or an XRT without doing some pretty serious modifications to your battery tray. And then getting an XLX2 in one of those rigs, holy shit, forget about it. You gotta buy all kinds of batteries to fit all that shit in there. I'm using stock motor mounts, stock ESC tray. Well, not really a tray, it sits on top of the steering servo. That's a 2-in-1 combo. Hold your steering servo, and then it has your receiver box in there as well. But all you need is some 2-sided tape and slap that thing in there, and there's plenty of room for an XLX2 without doing anything crazy. As big as I've gone in my Traxxas rig, which is my XRT and one of my X-Maxes, I do run the MMX8S Creighton or Castle ESC, and it's got the 1650 kV is what's in the XRT. And then in the X-Max of mine, the one that I trash and jump the shit out of it and try to keep light as possible, it has a Gen 3 Max 6 with 1260 kV Castle motor. So it's my bastard child, but man, that light setup does so freaking well. And then I'm able to keep it censored. Yeah, my camera turned off because of heat. I noticed that GoPros love to do that, man. Apparently they get hot easily, and I do run both screens front and back, so that's probably doesn't help. But yeah, I don't know how long I was recording there, thinking I was recording, but the GoPro was off. Sitting here talking to myself with nobody listening. Anyways, forgot what I was even talking about. Oh well. We're not here to listen to me talk anyways. Just here for the RC porn, boys. I have no idea how long that was turned off for. So I apologize. I have to check the footage when I get home, see what all we missed on. Well, that wasn't horrible. Even with the GoPro being stupid, overheating and turning off on me, the footage didn't turn out too bad. I was recording today by setting it on top of this guy, the old GoPro 12, that was overheating. Disappointingly, man, like that's the best GoPro can do. It's probably because I had the front and rear screens both on. Maybe I'll turn the front screen off so that maybe it'll help. But I like to be able to see what I'm recording. So, I don't know. Hard to say what to do on that to fix it. This is the receiver I was using in both rigs today. It's one for Fly Sky that has a gyro built into it, and it's an advanced receiver. INR-F-GYB. Works really well with this system here, and very pleased with it. And overall, everything went pretty good today. Ran this guy down here, and then this guy right there today. There's the 12S X-Max. That's the bastard child X-Max with the Hobby Wing ESC and a Castle motor. And then this guy, I'm running a MMX8S with a 1650 kV 8S system. And then all my other rigs. So if there's anything you guys are curious about, nothing is stock. If you want me to explain anything or make a video on any of them, just let me know. I have been having a couple of old school nitros too. But hope you guys have an awesome day, and until next time, Supernova RC Addiction out.